The first item on the agenda is public comments. Do we have anybody that would like to address the board on any issue? I see we have a unfamiliar face.
I'm very new. I didn't really want it. I didn't know to address the board, but I'm.
Well, if you wouldn't mind, just go to the microphone right in front of you and just give your name, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Nicole Shepard. My son is a 7th grader here, and it's funny how you start to come into this when something affects you. You want to learn more and more about it. So just trying to get educated.
Sure, that's great. What I would suggest you do, I don't know if you've had a chance to meet Tim Payne, the principal here.
Oh, yes.
Okay, and it's always a good idea to make an appointment and come in and talk with him about concerns and things that you have. I've been told he's very receptive.
He's great. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, we can go down to committee reports. There is no education report. Carrie unfortunately had a twisted ankle playing volleyball, so she will not be here. But she said that Ron had given us a report at the last meeting.
But I didn't go to the meeting this time.
You did fine. You did fine, and she read the minutes. And I think if Richard did the minutes correctly, I think we're all set. Ron, do you have anything that you thought about that maybe you didn't mention last week that you'd like, or 2 weeks, or whatever it was?
God, I can't remember, but I did have something that I said wrong. I told him that we didn't talk about, but it was still discussed. I think it was the greenhouse.
Okay. Well, I know there's ongoing discussions about that greenhouse as well as other things, and at our next meeting, I'm sure that you'll be able to straighten it all out. Okay. In terms of finance, we had our first finance meeting that dealt with the preparation of the budget. We had a presentation by both the high school and middle school principal expressing a desire to increase the staff in each area by one, certainly in the middle school, and there is probably going to be some changing of responsibilities and movement of personnel at the high school. Unfortunately, because we just learned of the decision that was made on health insurance, it's very difficult for us to move ahead on the budget until we have a more concrete idea of what the new mandated health service program is going to cost. The other thing is that we really need, before we work on the MAU budget, we need to have a better understanding of what the SVSU budget is. And I'm not really sure where we are in that.
Address that in my report.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, what we do is, that because it's a major factor in our budget, and over the past few years, we've transferred some of our expenses that we used to incorporate in our budget into the SVSU budget, particularly in special education and things. So we have to have a budget ready to present somewhere between the 23rd, I think it is, and the 3rd.
Second. 23rd and the 2nd of February.
Yeah, 23rd and the 2nd. So we'll be having a number of meetings in that well, after the first week of January. Anybody have any questions? There'll be more information about that health insurance business once we fully understand it. We have the treasurer's report and the budget status report, which is basically the budget status report is for your information. We need just a motion to
I'll move
accept.
the treasurer's report.
Second it.
Any discussion on that? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Very good. We can move on then. The consent agenda. Fran,
So moved.
any discuss? Excuse me, yes.
In one place, under the coaches, Kelly Brooks will be the JVB coach, and another place, he's the freshman coach. Do we have a JVB or a freshman coach? I was just curious.
Is that the same thing? I think they're the same.
A JVB could have sophomores on it.
As a freshman, do we have?
I saw him down there practicing, but I wouldn't know a freshman from a sophomore.
There's JVA and JVB, as I understand it. There's not
JVB.
a freshman
That's right.
designation anymore.
That's what that's why I was saying I thought that B was the same thing as what you would probably consider, but it's a B, A and B and only.
All right, then minor thing he's listed here is the freshman head coach. But whatever.
Okay. Okay, well, if we have any concerns about that, I'd suggest that, Ashley would be the best one to talk to. Okay,
What's the difference between an A and B?
I don't know.
It's developmental.
That's what they're saying things.
B kids just need a little more support, a little more practice.
Thank you.
Okay, going right through today. Okay, so we need a vote on the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Very good, we can move on then. Policies. Ed, did you have a chance to go to that meeting or not? Okay, so we'll turn it all over to Leon.
So you didn't ask me whether I had a chance to go.
I know, you love meetings, you go to every meeting possible.
I
That's
thought
all.
you were gonna find somebody else to,
Well, I
We
thought
all
you were
set.
gonna wait anyway, we're all,
We all
we'll
set.
talk after.
we're all set, yeah.
So we have several policies down for us today here, 3 for warning and 2 for adoption. To be adopt policy, the first one is 50-50 policy, which deals with discipline of students and suspension and expulsion of students. And you will see inside of the policy, the language was highlighted in bold print. One of the key features of that, I'll do that since we're going pretty fast tonight, the age and maturity of a student will be considered to be applicable in terms of this policy. And we had one strict and everything in note in here. And then on line 37, 36 and 37, there was nothing within this policy should limit the administrator's determination to involve law enforcement. So those are the big key things for that. in this
I'll move it
policy.
for warning.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Any question, excuse me, any questions on that? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Number B,
Okay.
Leon.
B is 50-65, verbal physical assault on an employee. And we made a couple of changes in there on the first page, line 16, Additionally, it is not the intent of this policy to discipline those students with disability who have part of their disability engaged in either verbal or physical behavior. And then the same statement associated with nothing within this policy should prevent the administration from involving law enforcement when necessary.
Leon,
I'll move that for warning also.
question?
Yep,
So if 2 students did the same assault and one had a disability and one didn't, they'd be treated differently?
yes.
They would have to be,
Yeah.
the kid with the, yes, the answer to that basically is to say that that's what needs to happen. That would happen out there. And it would be a determination whether the activity was associated with part of disability around the 504. I said 504, but it may be something else. But yes, the answer is.
Okay, we have a second to that? Ron, thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Very good.
And the next policy, 5400, have several editing types of things in it, inside of it, in terms of safety environment was added into the policy, and we made a couple of stricken some things out on line 13 and 14, and we removed 16, 17, and 18, and we added, again, nothing within the policy should serve to supersede this, the school board, its employees' obligations to student safety and supervision provisions out here along that line. So,
I'll move that for warning.
Have a second?
Second.
Second, Ron, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Very good.
And we had two policies. For some reason, Mount Ansty, we got lost out here with 5,600 student freedom of expression and student sponsored media. It's up for being adopted, but I thought we had already did it, and for some reason it didn't show up that way. So that took place from sometime way back.
That sounds like it, yeah.
So I'll ask the board.
I'll move
to
that.
consider it.
Ron seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Thank you.
Okay, and the last policy, 6330, there was still some confusion as to somebody was
Yeah, I
thinking
think
that
that-
somebody was supposed to have been trying to make a change and didn't make the change, so the policy was just
Yeah.
sitting. And so we're bringing them back after they've been the one with no changes to them for adoption.
I'll move that one for adoption.
Okay,
Second.
before we vote on it though, Dave, have you had a chance to look at that?
Yeah, I just had two questions, and
Good.
it says if you're absent from school, what happens? What if you're late? You miss half a day. Is there some provision on that?
Are you in the administrative regs part?
You got me, Leon.
Well, the policy is the first one of 6. And if you into the other part, that's the administrative regs part, and I just wanted to know where you were. I mean, well, normally we try to have the administrators answer that.
Yeah.
Ashley's not here, but I may be, I don't know where you're looking at.
I know that there's been in the past, people coming in, half a day's over and they're coming in. I don't know what the consequence for that is. The other question I had is if we've got vaping written in, because we had a problem, it was caught vaping, but it didn't spell out vaping was
Yep.
different than smoking, and I don't know if that's in.
That wouldn't, I don't want to mix policies
Yeah.
up, but there's a tobacco use policy, and that captures that.
So it does.
Yes,
That was my question.
okay.
Question?
Ron, excuse me, just one second. Dave, are you all
Right.
through? You have it?
Yeah, I would like to find out about the lateness, if that's
Okay.
about it.
Do you want to hold up, or do you want, you willing to vote on it now?
Well, that's the administrative regs
Yeah.
part, so that wouldn't hold anybody, the policy up. That's something that the administrators are saying they want to have in there, and he's trying to get some clarification for that. That shouldn't stop the policy.
Okay. Dave
Just
Durfee?
wanted to clarify that we're voting to adopt this rather than warn it, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, the little chart doesn't show that we've already warned it, or doesn't show a date when we warned it, Leon, so I wasn't sure.
Well, that was part of what I was saying, that what happened back here. It should have been one and passed through for adoption, because we wanted to do all those things at the end of last year, and for some reason, something got held up, because just like we're talking right now,
Yeah.
somebody was trying to make some conversation, but that should be fixed. Yeah, it is actually truly up for adoption. And if something is needed to be fixed in terms of the date, it'll be done before it goes to the site.
So we did warn it properly, I guess
That's
is my
correct.
question.
I gather,
You gather, okay. And then I'm also not clear on what language is changing. This is an existing policy, it looks like, from 2012.
I understand
Well-
what Leon's saying, that nothing really, because...
Nothing's changing.
No, you got another block behind that
Yeah,
that was done. The original policy piece was down in 2012.
yeah.
And then you can look down at the next block, it's 62619.
Yeah, I
Where it
got
went
that.
to SVSU won it and so forth along that line. But that policy, if you want to know what happened to this thing, we did a real rework of that. The policy is one page, and all the rest of the stuff went into administrative regs. And when we did that, it's because we didn't need to be changing things associated with the type of educational structure we're trying to do, and the eligibility of students' ability to play between the high school and the middle school. We wanted them to have the freedom to be able to make rational decisions for students at that level, and the same to have those type of rationales between that and the high school to make those decisions associated with those students. So the basic policy is one page. The different things in terms of eligibility and other requirements and tardiness and all that kind of stuff is in the administrative regs part for both middle school and high school, but the AD is to work to get those things resolved so that they can make sure that they follow in a manner that's consistently for the age and maturity of the students and their level of education.
Right. May I suggest that we have Ashley just let us know at our next meeting to answer Dave's questions.
I'll give her a call.
That's all.
I have a question too. It states that a student must have a grade of 65 or better in all courses. Under the personal learning plans, I thought we were changing the grading system.
You into the administrative regs again, and one of the goals, and it hadn't been completely resolved out here in terms of that, and we had some definitions in terms of what's equal to that level, and we talked about that and had some discussion for that. But that part, the agreement is right now we hadn't really resolved all of those issues in terms of a letter grade versus what's proficiency mean out here, but they're trying to match it up along that line.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other concerns or questions? If not, we've got a motion on the floor to adopt 6330. Do I have a second? We had a second, I guess. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Very good. Anything else, Leon?
Oh, that's
Okay, we go on to the.
Do we go back to the
Yes.
consent agenda?
Yeah, we can go back. Jim has let me know that he would like to table one of the items that was in the consent agenda, and that was Mr. Ladd's request for absence without compensation during the school year 2020.
4B under the leave of absence.
Under leave of
Consent
absence.
agenda.
What we'd like to do is eliminate that from the consent agenda, and we'll put it on the consent agenda for our next meeting in January.
So, table.
So we need a vote to table
Motion.
that. Do we have a
I'll
second?
yeah,
Okay, we have a second.
second,
tabled?
third.
Table.
The whole motion? No, under the consent agenda, leave of absence is 4B, we're just removing that.
4B.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and we will have it on the next, on our next meeting. Okay, we can go on to the middle school. I don't see a representative here from the high school.
He is ill this evening and sends his regrets.
Well, we will listen. Tim?
All right. Just given the time of year, I just want to thank several people in the middle school community for their work since the last time we met with the board. I want to thank Matt Edwards. He is the chorus teacher here at the middle school. He and his chorus delivered an outstanding concert last Tuesday to a full house. We really appreciate the effort. They made a return performance today for our 7th graders, and so we appreciate the students and Matt's effort in getting ready for that. I also want to thank Rebecca Mills. She is the band teacher here at the middle school. Did a very nice job at the concert, the band concert last Wednesday. Rumors of a sighting of a 6-foot elf are grossly over-exaggerated. I want to thank Mary Nevin, who was a middle school employee when I arrived here 8 years ago and now works in central office as a member of the special education department. Her passion project at the middle school, and continues to this day, is that she works with area businesses, including the farmers markets, to collect food for students and families. And as a result of her efforts and the area businesses, we were able to provide 23 Thanksgiving baskets for middle school families this year. put names in a hat, we pick hats, pick names out of the hat, and so it is a pleasure to deliver those to families in lots of communities throughout our school district. Like I said, Mary no longer works within this building, but we consider her a member of the middle school community. She is assisted in the building by Darlene Jones, who is the head of custodial here, and Carol Wilwall, who is a hall monitor extraordinaire in the building as well. They really do enjoy this project every year, and given the busy time of season, I really appreciate Mary making this a priority for us every year so we don't get it lost in the holiday shuffle. I also want to thank all the students at the middle school and all the staff. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving, which is a half day and traditionally is a somewhat exciting and bouncy day at the middle school, we did something different this year. We hosted a trimester celebration. We had 600 students join us in the gymnasium, all staff. We recognized students who at the end of the trimester achieved a 3 in all 3 of the Just B's, responsibility, respect, and giving best effort. Over 150 students received that recognition through 8 different teams. And after that, we played several challenge rounds of a game the kids called Knockout, which is a free throw competition between staff and students. It was a rousing competition, and the winners, the student who won, received an ice cream treat for his advisory, so it was a huge success, and it was something that I think staff appreciated, and I think we will be continuing that in the future. So it was a nice way to start the holiday.
Very good. Any questions of Tim? Those concerts, I've been to a few of them, and I'm always very impressed at the patience that the director of the different programs has. I mean, to take those kids who have had very, very little, if any, experience with instruments and get them to work together. And I don't know, Tim, but how many were on the stage? I mean, 15, 20 would be?
Oh yeah, you have 3 different
groups.
performance groups,
Yeah.
and your 8th grade is probably the biggest with 70 kids in it.
Yeah, so it's, to put all those kids together and get them up there and get them to be able to play 3 songs or to sing or whatever they were doing and have it sound very, very well is commendable. So pass it along, at least from me and the rest of the board, that we appreciate all the effort and success that those individuals have in putting those programs on.
We'll do that.
Okay, we can move on then to the superintendent's report.
Couple items. One thing that this board's been asking for, and some other boards, is where's our annual snapshot? Where are we seeing our student reports? We received word on Monday from Vermont AOE that there is a delay in the December reporting, so we do not have it. But they are quoted as saying that they will have an update next week for us on when they will be releasing that data. So we don't have to give to the board yet. And we have expressed to the AOE that this is something that we traditionally share with the boards, and the boards are looking for it, so we're hoping that we can have
What is this, Jim, you're talking about?
what you asked for, our student data.
SBAC.
Yep, and our
Okay.
our school snapshot of
Right.
performance. Along that lines, we still have not received our audit from our auditor, so I don't have an audit to give to you, but we're supposed to receive that early in 2020, but if you've been looking for it, we do not have it.
Can I just make a comment on that? One of the things that the audit shows us is shows us what we have in the surplus, which offsets the tax rate. So it is a very important thing that we get it before we put a budget together, so that we can give the public an honest opinion as to what it'll cost to run the school and what that cost, the tax impact of that. Good. Thank you, Jim.
And speaking of the budget, earlier this evening, some of you were there with me, was the VSU budget meeting, and as was said earlier, its work is connected to all the other budgets that need to be formed. We need their numbers first. They're at a pretty solid place this evening. They will meet again on Thursday, January 2nd, and I anticipate that there will be a final budget vote that evening. It has been impacted by the arbitration award for the statewide school employees' health insurance and what that will cost this district. But, district-wide, we are looking at $1 million increase for health insurance, and that will be impactful to the budget. But so then, if they complete their work on January 2nd, then the week of January 6th, and we'll have more information as that gets out, I anticipate either the MAU board will be meeting for a budget meeting, or the Union Elementary Board will be meeting, or both, to finalize their work, because as Tim mentioned, the window is January 23rd, no earlier than January 23rd and no later than February 2nd to warn the budget for a town meeting. Wishing everyone a happy holiday.
When does the MAU budget have to be warned?
Well, it has to be,
When do we have to
To
meet and pass it?
So we have to warn it no earlier than 23rd, no later than February 2nd. So the reality, no later than the 23rd of January, all boards need to be done with their budget work.
we hope to, at our January meeting, at the third Wednesday in January, have an indication as to, hopefully it would be ready by then, but if not, we'll have to have a special meeting where the board will meet, we'll have a presentation from Renee or somebody, and vote on it.
When do you need the budget data from the CDC?
Well,
Because they,
They got it.
we got it, yeah, we're all set there.
We've done it.
We've got their increase, 8-point-something%, but it doesn't really
it doesn't
translate into a lot of extra cost for us.
Yeah,
They
but
got
doesn't
it.
reflect the increase in health.
They have, but
There are
Let-
very few support staff members at the CDC that would be impacted. It's the support staff, not the teaching staff, that has seen it, will see a major change in health insurance.
Tim,
Yes,
just wanted to ask Jim a couple of
yeah, sure.
clarifying questions. So the two things that we would normally have at this point, this snapshot data from the state, is it your understanding that all schools are waiting for that information?
Yes.
It's not just us?
It's not just us
Okay.
now. Yeah,
All right.
thank you for allowing me
Yeah.
to clarify that. Yeah, it's not an issue with us or our data.
Okay, good. And as far as the audit goes, it's not just MAU, it's all, they're working on audits for all the districts. And it's quite late, right? Normally, when would it be?
It's
when
not,
would we have-
the past couple of years, this is when we've been getting it, yeah, with the vendor.
Is there a-
current-
do-
But
Is there a
in the
contracted
past,
date for
we've had it really in October or November
With the previous.
with
vendor
the
that we were
previous
using.
auditors.
Yeah.
These auditors are, well, anyway.
Thank you.
Anything?
Anything else I could answer?
We're all set. Leon, you all set?
Oh, I'm all set.
Okay. Okay. I do not have any report, except to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and look forward to seeing you next year.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We are adjourned.
Now, you forgot